Hey guys, my name is Green Zero and I'm bringing you a very special video today because that's right, today is the official release of patch 1.02 plus release number 12, the 12th iteration of the 1.02 plus is officially launching today, the 16th of October 2016. I would strongly recommend that everybody as soon as possible downloads every single map pack that is available. There are 3 map packs as per normal. You can download them from the links below. Grab them now. We're going to be distributing these amongst the community as soon as possible to prevent any desyncs or disruptions to games there, because there's always a little bit of teething problems as we move from one version of the patch to the other. Of course, R11, one of the most successful versions ever since May of 2015, finally getting replaced, and there was a need for a few changes. We've got an extra map thrown in as well, not too much happening on the map front anymore, but it's always good to see. But yeah, I strongly recommend view the links in the comments below or the video description. Download the patch as soon as possible. Tell your friends, tell everybody to get onto this one here, making this video, spread it out across Skype as well as online as well. The official 1.02 plus release 12 is out, and we're going to go through some of the balance changes. These are coming up right now. Okay, so first changes coming in to the patch 1.02 plus R12, of course, goes to Steel Talons. This is something I didn't necessarily agree with either, but the professional community has spoken, and it's all about collaboration there, what's best for the game. So in this situation, Steel Talons have been given EMP grenades. It's usually for the sole purpose that they cannot deal with the teleporting hexapod. They lack the EMP required to deal with that, and there's been a few strings attached to it, because obviously giving Steel Talons EMP grenades is a massive change. It's probably the biggest change in the patch right now. A very big balance patch there, but basically is to deal with those epic units down the end ladder of the game there. You do require a tier 3 to upgrade it, because obviously we would have a field day of Steel Talons players playing with this at the lower tiers with time pushes and things like that. But yeah, you do require a tech center, and the upgrade can be purchased from the command center. So you only need to build a tier 2 to actually have the upgrade, but you can't actually research it until a tier 3 has been dropped. So that's one of the prerequisites there. So instead of having with the regular GDI and Zocom, they can upgrade it from their armory. They don't need tier 3, they can do it at tier 1.5. Steel Talons must have a tech center, and they must have a comm center to then purchase the upgrade itself. $1,000, 30 seconds, same as the other factions. Of course, all GDI have received a change as well. The sniper teams, which basically excludes Steel Talons, it's just Zocom and GDI, deal 2 times damage versus Blackhand Disciples, so that's a one-shot kill. Now, there's a reason why they did this, and again, I was a bit on the fence about it, but basically, a lot of GDI players were being forced into fast AP ammo. They had to have a lot of AP ammo. They were getting jumped by Blackhand man spam. It's very difficult. If you don't have a lot of AP ammo, you just lose to those types of pushes, those types of attacks, and it really narrows your build down. This gives GDI a chance to quickly respond to a man spam by simply just dropping an armory and building sniper teams, marking them around. Previously, they took 2 shots to kill a disciple, so one sniper team has 2 members, so it fires 2 shots at a time, but both those shots were going to the disciple, but now only one of them goes to the disciple, so that's increased their effectiveness there. So that's why they've increased that. It's not going to be a massive change. I wouldn't see a lot of GDI players spamming out the sniper teams. You might see snipers and APCs now to counter a bit of man spam, but yeah, the AP ammo won't be the backbone of GDI. They'll have another option there, which didn't work so well in the other past patches. So it's just a few extra options there for GDI to deal with that type of man spam. Alright, so let's move along to the Blackhand changes here. Look at this one. These guys got really worked over, and again, I'm a bit on the fence, but a lot of the professional community decided upon this, and the professional community is the right community to make decisions about this balance of the game. They're the best people in the game. They're the ones that should be making the decisions. This has been very well thought over, thoroughly tested, and I must admit, I was a bit on the fence, like I keep saying, but once you play with it, you seem to realize, hang on, this really does make the game a lot more enjoyable, a lot more balanced. There's a lot more strategies opening up, but Blackhand have had their Confessor pre-upgrade gun range reduced to from 325 to 300, so it matches the upgraded range. A lot of people wouldn't know about that, but when you upgrade the Disciples with charged particle beams, they actually have less range. They've done this to match non-upgraded ones now, and that prevents the Cabals from killing rifles and and buzzes at stupid ranges sometimes once they start firing at them. So that's fixed that one. Big one here, everyone's probably going to be celebrating about this. Drafted Confessor squads only have 4 members. So instead of getting a full squad, you only get 4 members. Remember, it does cost $400 to build them from the barracks, but if you draft a watchtower, you save $100, and if you draft a barracks, you save $150, or a power plant, you save $150. So finally, they decided, you know what, we'll nerf that, and it does make fighting Blackhand, you know, not so brutally hard at the start of the game. Blackhand is still very effective, but they have to work just as hard as the other factions now instead of being an easy pick. Of course, they fixed the Confessors not detecting stealth, and they fixed their Confessor XP as well because they were giving away a little bit too much veterancy there. And of course, you know, when they crash into stealth units, they will actually detect them now. They didn't do that previously, again, something not a lot of people realize. So pretty much just a bug fix there. I think they were always intended to be able to detect stealth because every other infantry unit in the game can also do that. Moving on to Nod, so this is all Nod, including Blackhand. The Reckoner speed has been reduced from 120 to 105. So there you go, the Reckoner is now slower, and this is because thank you very much, Master Leaf, you did find a new meta here. Since Master Leaf thought of the fast Reckoner, pretty much everyone is blanket opening with this fast Reckoner, and it's just completely shut down a lot early stage of the game there. So they've fixed it up. Reckoner rushing is still incredibly viable, like it was back in the day, but shaving off 15 speed is definitely going to be noticeable when trying to do that rush. The gun armor vulnerability has actually been reduced, so the Reckoner is no longer as vulnerable to gun type weaponry, which means it will be able to take a bit more punishment from gun type weaponry such as other Cabals, watchtowers, stuff like that. So the Reckoner will do a little bit better in the field, but it won't be as quick. So that's going to be welcome there. The Tib Vein damage per second. So here we go. The Nod tier 4 1-clicks have been reduced, have been nerfed finally, and you know what, if they want to do that, that's fine. You know, I've seen these in action as well, and it's actually pretty good. They're more support powers than just clutch win buttons like they used to be. The damage per second reduced from 100 to 60, and the cost has been reduced. Obviously, you know, since it's doing less damage, they've reduced the cost ever so slightly just to make it a bit more appealing to use as well. But it's not going to be that one-click wipe out your whole army kind of thing. It's going to be a click. We're going to damage units within your army, but we're not actually going to be able to kill them. So you're still going to have to fight a battle. It's going to give you a nice edge, and you're going to want to avoid the Tiberian fields, but it's more of a support power like it was supposed to be. The Catalyst Missile, of course, has been nerfed. It leaves GDI Nod Harvesters heavily damaged, but it will not one-shot kill them, so it will still kill them if they're damaged, but it won't do 100% damage. So the idea is that if you hit a bunch of harvesters with Catalyst and you've got 3 harvesters in the red, you can quickly jump in with some bikes and kill them all or something like that. You've still got to use other units. It's not just an easy one-click. You can, of course, still destroy a refinery with one shot. So it's more about taking out the refinery, damaging harvesters, and then cleaning up with stealth tanks, vertigos, attack bikes, something else to help the harassment there. So that's fine, but yeah, not got a lot of changes. And again, the Blackhand players, the Blackhand professionals were very vocal about this, so they were the ones actually calling for a nerf on their own faction. And after playing with these changes for several weeks, I have to agree, you know, this is very well done, it's very subtle, it's very well thought out, and it changes just a tiny bit of the game there. So we'll move on to the screen changes coming up right now. Okay guys, so the last part of the video is about the screen changes. So Traveler 59, the Disintegrator gun armor vulnerability has been increased from 75 to 85%. Once again, because Traveler players were simply opening with fast Disintegrators every single game. It's basically a crutch. It would contain a lot of other factions, especially GDI in this situation here. Not that, again, I had a real problem with that, but again, it was just kind of like, oh, I'm Traveler 59, Disintegrator opening. You can still, of course, do it. It's very powerful, but you probably won't be throwing your Disintegrators away like a lot of people were used to doing. They'll just throw their Disintegrators away to suicide. But in this situation, they will die 10% faster, essentially, so the gun weaponry it does more damage to them. Prodigy health has been reduced 20% now. Again, something that I wasn't too happy with there. I thought the Prodigy, you know, isn't going to get built if it's nerfed too much. It is a very, very, very good unit for a professional to be using, and I think the main reason is because a lot of people were just suiciding their Prodigy to get the MCVs, and losing your MCV is like getting your heart ripped out, man. And that was a real biggie. Like, you had to do so much to protect it, but having 20% less health means it's going to be sniped quicker, even though it's probably just going to teleport right next to it. If there's defenses there, they'll probably kill it before the capture cell combo happens, but there you go. That's big on the disintegrators. Traveler will still be extremely potent in 1v1. That's not going to matter too much. It just means they won't be able to rely as heavily on disintegrators at the start of the game to just plow through enemy defenses there. But all scrins, Seeker Grenade Armor vulnerability has been reduced from 50% to 40%. The main reason why this has occurred is because flame tanks will destroy Seeker tanks very quickly, and flame tanks do grenade damage, so this allows Seekers to appropriately counter them a bit easier instead of, you know, one tiny error and your Seeker tanks will destroyed, because the flame tank's almost as fast as it. So once you're in range, it's very hard to get out of range. And it just means that Nod will have to use their flame tanks a bit more smarter, and Scrin won't be so heavily rolled by flame strategies, because Scrin was super vulnerable to flame strategies. The other one, the Gunwalker Shard Walkers, they deal 3 times bonus damage only versus cultists. Only versus cultists. The reason why this is because Traveler had a ridiculously unfair advantage against the other Scrin faction. Something that I do agree with as well, like Reaper and Scrin Vanilla had a hard time against Traveler, because if you build any of the really good Scrin units, they're extremely vulnerable to things like those cultists, and they're pretty easy. I mean, cultists are, you know, you need a lot of micro, but at that type of end game, you can use them in just like groups and just cause problems with them. So the Shard Walkers and the Gun Walkers will do a lot of damage versus cultists, and again, it comes down to Scrin not having an air unit that can kill infantry. That's fast anyway. I mean, the Devastator does a good job, but it's not fast, and it's tier 3. And the only thing on the ground that's fast enough is basically you've got your Mechapedes, but of course, guess what cultists want to capture? They want to capture Mechapedes, so you can't really use them. So Gunwalker, Shard Walkers will do bonus damage, so stay away from them. If you're going to capture them, you've got to be super, super tight on them. But anyway, that's all your major changes from the R12. So that's the R12, very subtle changes, which in my opinion are needed in the game, as well as the rest of the professional community. But what do you guys think about the new changes? Head on over to Kane's Wrath Online and download a new copy of the patch. At the point of this video, Kane's Wrath Online should be the only place you'll be able to find a copy. Hopefully others jump on board and distribute this one as well. But big thank you to CGF. If you see CGF online, give him a big high five, give him a big thank you, because without this, it wouldn't be possible. So big thanks to CGF for continuing to develop the game, or develop the patch there. But head on over to Kane's Wrath Online, download a copy of the patch, and I'll see you guys online playing some Command & Conquer 3 Kane's Wrath.